My sister, Sarah, came home with her boyfriend, Tom, every single night. And she never used protection. When I asked her why, she told me she used the back door. I told her it was delicate, and doing that all the time could lead to problems. I said people are open-minded now, and anyone who truly loved her wouldn't care if she was a virgin. Sarah seemed to listen. Later, after she and Tom broke up, Mom set her up with a rich guy named Chad. On their wedding night, Chad freaked out because Sarah didn't bleed. The story spread like wildfire the next day. Humiliated, Sarah blamed me for everything. She shoved my head into scalding hot water, her face contorted with rage. It's all your fault. If I were still a virgin, I'd be a rich housewife, and no one would dare laugh at me. Then I woke up. It was the day Sarah first told me she never used protection. Don't worry, sis. I can't get pregnant.
I
always use the back door with Tom, Sarah said, wiggling her hips. Looking at her face, a chill ran down my
spine.
The memory of boiling water searing my airways flooded back. It took a lot of effort to calm myself. Wow, you're so skilled. I finally managed. Sarah continued sharing her wisdom. Seriously, sis, that area can pleasure a guy
just as well.
Don't always listen to Mom.
It's
the 21st century. Live a little. You're so old-fashioned. That's why I smiled. Sarah was so smug because her current boyfriend, Tom, was my ex. We'd been together for 2 years, and he dumped me because I didn't want to have sex before marriage. Less than 3 days after our breakup, Tom and Sarah went public. I only found out they'd been hooking up when I went to Tom's place to get my stuff. Sarah went to his apartment every day, and the sounds of their activities could be heard all the way from the 3rd floor to the 5th. Everyone in the building knew. My first reaction wasn't anger, but fear of what Mom would do if she found out. My dad died when we were young, and Mom raised us both on her own. She was a matchmaker and knew tons of eligible bachelors. Dealing with these upper-class men, she knew exactly what they looked for in a
partner.
A big one was purity. So Mom always drilled it into us. Dating was fine, premarital sex was not. She'd say, marriage is your second chance at life. These men might say they don't mind, but they all want a virgin. Don't cross that line, or I'll disown you both. Walking home from Tom's, I thought about telling Mom about Sarah. But when I brought it up, Sarah insisted she was still a virgin because she hadn't used the right way. It took me a few seconds to process that. Then I started worrying about her health. I had some basic medical knowledge, and I knew how fragile that area was. It wasn't meant for that kind of activity. I immediately told Sarah about the risks and said, someone who truly loves you won't put you through that, and they won't care about your virginity. If you want to be intimate, use the right place. If someone actually cares about that hymen thing, we can get it surgically repaired. The surgery option intrigued Sarah, and she stopped using the back door. But then she and Tom broke up, and Mom introduced her to Chad. Even with the surgery, there was no blood on their wedding night. After the divorce, Sarah blamed me. Thinking about it, I still offered a cautious, but using the back door can be harmful and lead to infections, right? Sarah winked. Not if you're careful.
Besides,
sis, I think I'm just naturally gifted.
That
area produces fluids too. I knew Tom had fed her that lie. That area doesn't normally produce fluids. If it does, it usually means something's wrong. This realization gave me a perverse sense of satisfaction. Feigning envy, I asked, is that why Tom likes? Meanwhile, I used a burner account to message Tom, offering him adult toys. He picked a few, paid, and I quickly placed the order at an online store. As I finished replying to him, Sarah's phone
buzzed.
She blushed after glancing at the screen. Minutes later, she grabbed her purse and headed out. Sis, I gotta go. Keep this from Mom, okay? Sarah didn't come home that night. She could barely walk when she returned the next day. For the next few days, Tom kept ordering the toys got more extreme, and Sarah's walk got weirder. I knew this couldn't last.
And it didn't.
One Saturday, Sarah pulled me aside. Sis, I think I tore down there. I feigned composure. Down where? Down there. She pulled down her pants. Can you look? I bled a lot earlier, and it really hurts. Fighting back nausea, I looked. It definitely wasn't normal. Sis, should I go to the hospital? I leak when I sneeze now. I almost threw up. The hospital? You want Mom to know about this? Mom was already suspicious about Sarah's absences. Then what do I do? Sarah panicked. I rubbed my hands together. It doesn't look that bad. Let's just get some cream from a clinic. Sarah was too embarrassed even for a clinic. She ended up buying some medication online and applying it herself. The medication worked, and Sarah went back to her nightly escapades. But it was obvious her muscles were looser. There was a distinct smell about her. Finally, the day arrived. Mom found a suitable rich guy, Chad, and immediately pushed Sarah to meet him. Chad is a catch. Millionaire, educated, and, most importantly, clean living. Mom gushed, patting Sarah's leg. And guess what?
His
only requirement is a clean girl. Sarah, your lucky day is here. Mom was ecstatic, but Sarah was indifferent. Mom, I don't want to. We both stared at her. In the last life, she'd jumped at the chance. Why not? Sarah, marriage is a second chance. You always complain I haven't given you good opportunities, and now I've found you the perfect match. Sarah shrugged. I have a boyfriend. Mom frowned. Break up with him. Sarah, don't tell me you disobeyed me and slept with him. Sarah's face paled. Of course not, Mom.
I
I don't want to get married yet.
let
Amy go on the date. Em looked at me with disdain. Do you think she's good enough? Mom's words stung. Because she was a single mother, she was overly strict with us, fearing gossip. But her strictness wasn't equal. She treated me like a criminal and Sarah like a prized possession. If I didn't do my homework, she'd rip up my textbooks and throw them away, leaving me to face ridicule at school. If Sarah skipped her homework, she'd get a mild scolding. If I broke a dish, I'd kneel outside in the freezing cold all night. If Sarah broke one, she'd get a slap on the wrist. I often wondered if I was adopted. I even took a DNA test as an adult. The results confirmed I was her daughter. After Sarah pushed me into the boiling water, in my past life, I was still clinging to life. When Mom arrived, she didn't even look at me. She fussed over Sarah, checking if her face was fine. With my last breath, I asked her why she favored Sarah. She gave me a disgusted look. I don't play favorites. You're just jealous, that's why you think I'm biased. Sarah never complains. I knew the real reason. Sarah was prettier. Mom always said beauty was an asset.
She
believed Sarah could marry rich and improve our lives, so she bet everything on Sarah's marriage prospects. Despite her reluctance, Mom didn't force Sarah to go on the date. But unwilling to let the opportunity go to waste, she sent me to meet Chad. On the way, she warned, don't mention your past relationships to Chad. You're already not much to look at. If you talk about your history, he'll definitely be turned off. Sometimes I wondered if Mom was blind. Sarah could stay out all night and Mom assumed she was being a good girl. I came home on time every day, informing her of my whereabouts, yet she still saw me as promiscuous. Luckily, Chad didn't seem to mind my looks. In my past life, I had a negative impression of him because of what happened with Sarah. But after talking to him this time, I realized he was a decent guy. Polite, well, informed. Just like Mom said, his only requirement was a chaste partner. This wasn't unreasonable. especially given his background.
He was a
Catch, and women threw themselves at him. Yet he remained a virgin. He held himself to high standards, so it wasn't surprising he had similar expectations for a partner. We clicked. We went on a few more dates and our connection deepened. After our last date, I started thinking maybe this rebirth wasn't about revenge, but about setting things right, about me ending up with Chad. For a moment, I thought marrying him wouldn't be so bad. But I didn't expect that after Chad agreed to get engaged to me, Sarah would break up with Tom. When she saw Chad at our house, she pulled Mom aside for a private conversation. The next day, Mom told me, break up with
Chad.
Your sister wants to be with him. It felt like a punch to the gut. I was stunned. Doesn't Sarah have some kind of sick obsession with stealing boyfriends? She took Tom, that garbage human, and now when Chad and I are about to get engaged, she wants to steal him too?
Is she addicted to
being a homewrecker? Mom slapped me across the face. Sarah is your sister.
How dare you speak
about her like that? I was going to introduce Chad to Sarah in the first place. You're the one who stole him from her. The slap stung, and with it, the last vestiges of love I had for Mom vanished. I snapped. Even if that's true, Chad is my boyfriend now. Let's see if you can make him fall for Sarah. I couldn't stay in that house another second.
I
grabbed my bag and ran. I knew if Sarah wanted Chad, Mom would make it happen. But I had faith in Chad. He wasn't like Tom. I stayed out all day, replaying the events of the day and my past life in my head.
Both
lives felt incredibly unfair. I decided that once I was engaged to Chad, I'd move out. But just a few hours later, before I'd even gone home, Chad called. Amy, he said, I think we should break up. My voice trembled.
Why?
Is it because of Sarah? There was a long silence. Then Chad admitted, Amy, you're smart. You know that guys like me, in this social circle, need a beautiful woman on their arm. You and your sister are otherwise identical, so of course, I'm going to choose the more attractive one. I'm sorry. I'll give you some compensation, but I hope you won't make a fuss. We can still be friends. Friends, my ass. I hung up and smashed my phone. After a few deep breaths, the tears came, hot and heavy. I picked up the pieces of my phone, intending to delete all the pictures of Chad and me. As I scrolled through them, my eyes widened. A few minutes later, all my anger and resentment were replaced by a cold, hard resolve. If everyone was going to screw me over, I'd screw them right back. I walked in the door to the sound of Mom and Sarah giggling. They were trying on clothes Chad had sent over, grinning from ear to ear as they modeled each outfit. Mom's smile faltered when she saw me. Amy, look how generous Chad is giving you all these clothes even after the breakup. I gave her a look. Her face soured. What's with that look? Serves you right, he dumped you with that gloomy face. Before I could respond, Sarah chimed in. Mom, don't be so harsh on Amy. She batted her eyelashes at me. Amy, I'm so
sorry.
I just wanted to be friends with Chad. But he asked me to be his girlfriend. We're truly in love. You don't blame me for stealing him, do you? Her apology dripped with fake sincerity, her eyes gleaming with triumph. Mom scoffed. Sarah, don't apologize.
It's
Amy's fault for not being good enough to hold on to him. At least he stayed in the family. Sarah feigned disapproval.
Mom, you
shouldn't talk about Amy like that. They were playing good cop, bad cop. I cursed them internally, then plastered a fake smile on my face. Sarah, Mom's right. You're clearly more capable. I admit defeat. They were taken aback. They clearly didn't expect that. Sarah blinked. Amy, are you okay?
Are you
losing it? No. I shook my head. I've just been thinking about what Mom said. I've always been less than you. So, you and Chad are getting Married soon, right? Well, let me plan your wedding. I worked at a wedding planning company, and with Chad's family's money, their wedding would be a huge commission. Mom and Sarah, despite their disbelief at my sudden change of heart, agreed. The deal was done, and even if I was bitter, I couldn't do anything about it. They assumed I was channeling my anger into my work. Sarah readily agreed, promising me the job if she married Chad. From that day on, I stopped asking about Sarah and Chad. I looked at apartments near my office and announced my intention to move out that weekend. Mom and Sarah were all for it. Chad often dropped Sarah off, and they were worried I'd try to win him back. Once I moved out, I focused on work. This whole ordeal taught me that mom's lessons about marriage being a woman's second chance were wrong. Earning your own money was the real second
Chance.
Relying on a man would always leave. 3 months later, Sarah and Chad got engaged. 6 months after that, they came to my company to sign the wedding contract. Sarah was drenched in perfume, but I could still smell that faint, familiar odor. I knew she hadn't stopped her activities during those 6 months. Her condition must have worsened. Looking at their chosen wedding date, I knew my chance for revenge had arrived. I planned a destination wedding for them on a tropical island. All the guests were staying at the same resort. The food at the wedding was specially chosen by me. Before the reception was even over, Sarah kept running to the bathroom. Mom scolded me. Amy, are you doing this on purpose? You know Sarah has a sensitive stomach. Why so much spicy food? I feigned innocence. Chad's family loves spicy food. Besides, I made sure there was plenty of tofu for Sarah. She's sensitive to tofu too. Mom glared. Go get her some medicine. Chad's really looking forward to the wedding night. Don't let this ruin it. Don't worry, I assured her. I had my assistant get some medicine while Mom watched. When she came back, I swapped it with the laxatives I'd brought. That night, Sarah went to the honeymoon.
Sweet.
Mom and I shared a room. I hadn't seen my aunts in a while, so I invited them over for a mahjong game with Mom. At the mahjong table, my aunts showered Mom with praise. You have such wonderful daughters. Amy is so capable. The wedding was beautiful.
And
Sarah is gorgeous. Chad couldn't take his eyes off her. You're so lucky. A family like that could have. There was a hint of envy in their voices. I caught it, and so did Mom. She preened. Of course, they chose Sarah. She's a prize. You have no idea how picky Chad is. He wanted a virgin. These days, virgins are rare. With Sarah's looks and being pure, Chad really lucked out. Mom beamed, oblivious to how she was objectifying Sarah. My aunts looked uncomfortable but continued their polite flattery. Mom's phone rang. I grabbed it before she could. Before I could speak, Sarah's voice, choked with sobs, filled the speaker. Mom, come to my room. Alone. And be discreet. I stood up abruptly and shouted, Sarah, what's wrong? Don't cry. The mahjong game stopped. Everyone stared at me. Sarah forgot to sob. Amy, where's Mom? Is Chad hurting you? I'll bring everyone up there right now. I hung up without waiting for a reply, turning to my aunts with righteous indignation. Something's wrong. Sarah said Chad is hitting her. We need to go. Mom's face paled. Why would he do that? Doesn't matter. We need to support her.
My
aunts jumped up, urging me. Amy, get your uncles too. Hitting her on their wedding
night?
That's unacceptable. I nodded. I ran towards the guest wing, accidentally alerting some of Chad's family along the way. A small army of us marched to the honeymoon suite on the top floor. My aunts pounded on the door. It swung open, and we all stormed in. We froze. Sarah was alone.
Chad was nowhere to be seen.
Then we smelled it. A pungent stomach. Churning odor filled the air, and the sheets, covered in. Our faces went from white to red to black. And then, as one, we all reacted. Heave. Sarah's face drained of color as she saw the
crowd.
She screamed and fainted. We rushed her to the hospital. After several frantic calls, Chad finally arrived. His face was thunderous. Understandably, no one wants their wedding night to end like that, especially with so many witnesses. Chad's guests included not only family but also business partners. The story would be all over town within days. But that was later. At the hospital, the crowd dispersed. The doctor examined Sarah and discreetly remarked, "You should avoid using that area for intercourse. It's badly torn. Further use could be dangerous." Chad paled. "Are you saying this is from anal sex?" The doctor's expression was strange. Before he could answer, Mom exploded. "What are you talking about? My daughter is a virgin.
I'll
sue you for slander." The doctor, clearly used to such situations, quickly backtracked and claimed he misspoke. But the seed of doubt had been planted. Chad had seen things with his own eyes. His face grim, he turned to Sarah. "Sarah, what's going on? Why is it like that?
Did
another man do this to you?" Sarah, of course, denied everything.
Chad,
"You have to believe me. This is all because of," she pointed at me. "Amy did this.
She's
jealous I married you."
She shoved
something inside me before the wedding, and she gave me food that made me sick.
Chad,
"Believe me, I haven't been with anyone else." Mom joined in.
"Yes,
"That's right, Chad.
My
dear son-in-law, I didn't want to say anything, but my eldest daughter is twisted. She's behind all of this." Chad, incredibly, believed them. He turned to me, his voice filled with disgust. "Amy, I can't believe you'd do this. If you had a problem, you could have talked to me. If you wanted money, you could have asked. Why resort to these tricks?
Are you happy now seeing
Sarah like this? I'll have you fired tomorrow." I laughed coldly. "She's like this because she's been messing around with other men and trying to hide it. This has nothing to do with me." Everyone gasped. Mom's face contorted with rage. She lunged at me, hand raised. "You little bitch.
How
dare you lie? You're just jealous Sarah married
rich.
She's innocent. You're the one who's been sleeping around." My whole life, I'd flinched from Mom's slaps. Out of fear. Not this time. I dodged and Mom stumbled, falling hard onto the floor. She groaned, cursing me under her breath. Sarah started crying, the picture of innocence. "Amy, I know you hate me for stealing your boyfriend, but you can't slander me like this. You've already ruined my wedding day.
Do you want to ruin my
marriage too?" Her tears worked their magic on Chad. He pointed at me, his voice shaking. "Amy, do you have any proof? If not, this is slander, and I'll sue you." "Proof?" I smiled. "Oh, I have proof. My ex, Tom, had a tablet I'd given him. He'd logged in with my account I hadn't known he had a penchant for recording intimate moments. While deleting photos earlier, I'd stumbled upon a treasure trove of pictures and videos of him and Sarah. Extremely explicit. The kind that would get you banned from any social media platform. Chad wanted proof. I'd give him proof. I pulled up the photos and videos.
Chad's
face went from white to red to a deep, angry purple. Mom, curious, peered over his shoulder. As the images registered, she began to tremble. Her image of her pure, innocent daughter shattered. She whirled around and slapped Sarah hard across the face. "Sarah, you did this behind my back." Sarah, bewildered, looked at the phone. Her voice was frantic. "No, that's not me. Chad, believe me. It's fake. I'll Generated.
I'm
Innocent. I interjected. Real or fake, it's easy enough to find out. Isn't your dear husband in the tech industry? I'm sure he has the connections to get this verified. Calling him husband felt so good. No need, Chad said quietly, handing me back the phone. He looked at Sarah and said simply, "We're getting divorced tomorrow."
no.
"This isn't happening." Sarah sobbed, reaching for him. She stumbled, her injuries making it difficult to move. Mom rushed to her side. "Chad, don't be
Rash.
You two are meant to be together. Don't throw it all away over this."
You saw.
She didn't use that, she's still pure. Chad wasn't stupid. He turned and walked away without a word. Mom stormed back to me, raising her hand. Again. "Amy, are you happy now? You've ruined your sister's life." This time, I caught her hand. "Get this straight, Mom. She ruined her own life. I didn't. You knew about it. You should have told her." Mom argued. "This is your fault. If you were a good sister, you would have warned her. Then she wouldn't be like this.
She
Wouldn't have been humiliated like this." "Enough," I shouted. "I'm only 2 years older than her. Why is everything always my fault? Mary, you're so biased." I finally said the words I'd held back my entire life. It felt liberating. Mom's face hardened. "Amy, don't you dare talk to me like that. You should always put your sister first. Sarah is beautiful and innocent. It's your duty as her older sister to protect her." I laughed, holding up the phone. "Innocent? She's anything but." Mom yelled. "I don't care. This is your fault.
You fix it.
Tell Chad those videos are fake. Tell him you made them because you're jealous. If you don't, I'll disown you." I looked at her coldly. "You know, that threat only works if I care." Mom stared at me, dumbfounded. "What do
You mean
I mean? I used to want to be your daughter.
a
Good daughter. So your threats worked."
but I
"Don't want that anymore," I said, my voice flat. "So, as you wish. We're done. Please, don't ever acknowledge me as your daughter again." I turned and walked away, leaving Mom's screams echoing behind me. I went home, packed my remaining belongings, and left. I blocked Mom and Sarah's numbers and threw myself into my work. Despite Sarah's best efforts, the story of her wedding night got out.
everyone was talking about it.
In my past life, Sarah had faced some gossip for her deception, but people were generally more forgiving. Blaming Chad's outdated this time was different. The story was too explosive. Sarah didn't leave the house after she was discharged from the hospital. Mom, unable to reach me, came to my office, accusing me of ruining Sarah's reputation. Ironically, I was the one who'd planned that whole spectacle. No matter how she tried to spin the narrative, a video of Sarah begging Chad not to leave her at the hospital surfaced a few days later. My bosses called me in for a meeting. I expected to be fired for the negative publicity. Instead, they asked how I was doing and offered me a transfer to a new branch in another state. I was speechless with gratitude. I started handing over my work, and then Chad showed up. He said he'd realized looks didn't matter and asked if I'd still marry him. I stared at him, amused. "Do you want to marry me because you like me, or because you want a virgin?" Chad stammered, unable to answer. He just kept repeating, "I'm serious about you," dripping with sincerity. "I seriously think you're disgusting." I told him I could never forgive him and to stay away from me. He persisted, sending flowers, gifts, luxury items. I refused everything. My coworkers urged me to be realistic, arguing that marrying Chad was a chance to climb the social ladder. I just laughed. He dumped me for Sarah once. He'll dump me for someone else again. Money is nice, but it's better when you earn it yourself. The day before I left, Sarah sent me a text. saying Mom missed me and that she wanted to apologize. I deleted it without a second thought. She'd pulled the guilt trip in my past life too. I'd gone back, only to be treated worse than ever. I wouldn't fall for it again. I adapted quickly to the new city, focusing on my work. I got promoted, earned a good salary, and made new friends. Eventually, I met someone. He was intelligent, kind, and from a good
family.
His parents adored me. When they asked about my family, I told them the truth. And they didn't judge me. They just held my hand and said I'd been through a lot. I went back to my old city once to transfer my residency. While there, I heard gossip about Sarah and
Mom.
Sarah had gone back to Tom, wanting him to take responsibility. He agreed, but only to use her again.
He'd
gotten used to the back door, and regular sex didn't interest him anymore. He used her until she was completely broken. I heard she developed severe complications. Mom's dreams of a rich son-in-law were
shattered. Her career also tanked.
She'd insulted a client, and the client's family retaliated, breaking her legs. She'd spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. I just smiled when I heard all this. Their fate was no longer my concern. I was finally free. The end.